This is why conflict is built into the job. This is why we say that conflict is built into the DNA of being a referee, because that natural distance exists. Can you get rid of it altogether? Probably not. You've got the different uniform, you've got this idea of having to make tough penalties and calls and decisions. There's probably always going to be some distance. There's always going to be some, idea that, hey, this referee is maybe not on our side. But there's this cliche, and there's a big difference between the referee isn't totally awesome versus the referee is our enemy. And if you're not sure that there's built-in residual ideas of the refs being the bad guys or the bad people or the person who criticizes me, or the person who catches me doing something wrong, or the person who's unfair, the person who's even biased, I would bring you to one of my favorite props of the Social Ref course. This is a magazine cover from 1998 for Sports Illustrated. Before the internet, Sports Illustrated used to be like the place to go. I can remember seeing this on the floor of my dad's living room and saying, wow, that seems kind of harsh, but 20 years ago, this idea of like the umpires in Major League Baseball playoffs were bad, so let's talk about how bad they are and let's have a cover that says kill the umps. Unfortunately, that's just part of the gig that you're getting into. I don't want to scare you. It doesn't make any sense for us to scare you off and not have you want to be a referee. We want to see more referees, but we just want to prepare you. We think you're going to be more successful if you're prepared. And you're more prepared for the idea that in the last 5 to 10 years, relationships between players and referees have actually gotten worse. Relationships between parents and referees have actually gotten worse. We would argue it's not because the calls are any different, it's because we're not learning enough about how to communicate. But I think it's also part of the idea is as people keep getting attacked and yelled at by parents and yelled at by coaches and the stakes get higher, the natural reaction of people to climb up on that pedestal, to stay up on that pedestal, say, hey, this is where I belong. Hey, you stay down there, I stay up here, I'm the ref, I know who's in charge, I know the rules, you don't know the rules, and that just reinforces conflict and reinforces animosity and reinforces cap. So that fundamental habit is always in everything you do, in your communication, in your interactions, in your engagement, in your tiny favors. Can you think about the idea of climbing down off the pedestal? And if it's unfair that people see you as the enemy, that's also an opportunity. It's an opportunity to not be like every other referee. There's probably a lot of experiences that people have with referees before they even see you, right? So there's the idea that familiarity can build trust. But if they're seeing you for the first time, they're not going to be very familiar with you. So the idea that repetition can also build trust is important. That's why we talk so much about game information. But if somebody's not comfortable with you, think about all the past experiences that they might have had. They probably either had a referee who was way over their head, got zero training, and was just stumbling and fumbling around, in which case they kind of ruined the fun. Or maybe they had the flip side, a referee who was just all about being on stage and being in charge. Keep in mind the simple concept. Nobody came to watch you referee. You might think that your refereeing is awesome. You might think you're the best umpire referee out there. Nobody ever comes to the game saying, oh man, I can't wait to see the calls that this ref or ump makes. Start with that basic idea in your head and use that basic idea of if you keep having to say you're in charge or say you're the boss, you're probably not really in charge. You're probably just acting like a jerk. Both of those concepts of nobody came to watch you ref and having to constantly keep reinforcing that you're in charge or you're in control are both kind of fundamental ideas of getting down off that pedestal, meeting the players where they are, and staying humble.